issues are receiving attention, and then we will go to the board. I think that yesterday there was a high-level reaction to the issues that had been raised, and we gave an opportunity this morning to, when I say respond, react in full to the issues that had been raised. So, Generals, just to check, did you meet with Mr. Manager yesterday as we had asked? Can you expropriate and write them momentarily?
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. Yes, I did meet with Mr. Mamacha yesterday. We've agreed on process, but we also just checked in terms of his assessment standardly. Thank you. In terms of his assessment, normally the procedure. Let me first explain the procedure. Is the person or the subject normally activates a threat. He's picked up information, or somebody else picks up information. The organization is normally informed. Now, and then the organization normally, the protocol is the organization must then activate the police, and they normally go via, they either phone the National Commissioner, send an email, who then activates crime intelligence. Now, in this case, in terms of Mr. Selo Mamacha, we've never received any application for a threat and risk assessment. I checked during my time when I was there, the head of CI, we haven't received, and even now, I checked yesterday, confirmed there was no. Whereas I think in the case of Ms. Pillay, there was a threat activated. They applied to us. We informed them the formal procedure. They applied, and that's applied about 2 weeks ago. So that process is underway. So, but the case of Mr. Mamacha, that was not done. We've spoken to him yesterday. He will activate that formally with Eskom, and in turn we'll engage through our priority committee for Eskom to formalize the application. The normal challenge we find is that individuals activate threats, and the institution, because the individual can't activate his own threat to the police. The institution normally has to do it on behalf of the police. Otherwise, you will get a situation where it could be individually triggered, where a person might need that, and the institution must confirm that there is indeed in their mind such a threat. So that is the procedure. So we've met. We will, once we get the activation from Eskom, we will activate crime intelligence, who in turn will deal with Mr. Mamacha's threat or not. I submit. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. As long as it's a work in progress and is receiving the attention that as colleagues, are you fine with that? Can we proceed? Was it an update on really a matter that we had requested us to but I'll go to the board to react to yesterday's issues, and then we will go to the engagement is scheduled. So I'm told there's a change of guard. There's a new acting chair today on the board side, but yeah, it's fine. Talk on it, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Fatima and I decided to share the responsibility with your indulgence. If I may just start first with just opening remarks, and then we can continue as you've directed, Chair. Chairperson of SCOPA, Mr. Shwengwa, members of SCOPA, Eskom executives, members of the media, good morning. On behalf of the board, I would like to express our sincere appreciation for being granted an opportunity to again engage with SCOPA, a committee whose vision we believe drive and continue to strengthen and enforce accountability in the public sector. Over the past few days, we have endeavored to give you an honest account of Eskom's operations If we've fallen short and have not provided answers to the committee's satisfaction in some respects, we do apologize, but we will continue to endeavour to align with your expectations and make sure that we meet your expectations as we go forward. I also take the opportunity to reassure you of our commitment to setting Eskom on a path to sustainability. Central to this commitment is providing oversight and support to the Executive Committee while holding the Executive accountable for delivery in accordance with agreed performance targets. Equally important, as the Board, we are accountable to the shareholder and subject to scrutiny through the applicable parliamentary processes such as we are doing with SCOPA today. We do this with full understanding and appreciation of Eskom's role in the economy of our country and the livelihood of every fellow South African. During the discussions, we have highlighted our commitment to addressing wrongdoing and pursuing punitive and restorative measures. We have further highlighted our commitment to achieving operational excellence as an imperative and expressed our pride in achieving a collaborative negotiated agreement for Eskom's employees. Rest assured that we welcome the role of SCOPA in assisting us to achieve all of the above. On this note, I once again welcome you, honourable members, to Eskom Megawatt Park. We are fully committed to this process and will address all the issues raised by SCOPA over the 3-day visit. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And maybe to then go to yesterday's issues, if there's any additional comments that you would like to make. And then please remind the procurement. We've got the matter of the 500 million rands fidelity contract that they need to come and update us on. That was one matter that was flagged yesterday, and specifically they were going to get details on that and the vetting status and updating the dashboard and then reasons to follow at a later stage. So you can go to yesterday's issues and you can amongst yourselves decide how you want to go that, and then we'll go to HR.
Including the sequence of events in terms of the timelines of the information shared by Mr. de Ruyter, whether it was a workshop or a meeting.
There's been the indication that this was November, late November, but yesterday we were informed by Megani that it was the 5th, the 17th of January 2023. Okay. If there isn't anything, then we'll dive right into questions. Colleagues, the board is here this morning to field your questions on issues whilst they're awaiting submission of those issues that's been collated.
Chair, I'll take direction from you. Should we go in the sequence that you mentioned?
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying. Rather clarify and finish yesterday's issues.
Okay.
And then, but I thought there was,
Right. So the executive will take the first set of questions, and then we'll come back to the board issue, because that was last, if I remember correctly. But Chair, I was also not here in the afternoon.
Honourable Chair, Chenji will come a little later with the security stuff during the day, and she'll present that. Chair, that's fine.
Chair, if I may, in terms of the vetting process, I confirmed with Eskom that they have an update of how far they are with the vetting process, PowerPoint dashboard, and we'll give an update in terms of what it would take to get to the 30-day mark in order to have this completed. I'm assuming that will also be available later today. Thank you.
Another issue that you want to respond to, react to that was raised yesterday?
Chair, I would then take direction. Do we then go to the board remarks at the end of the day? As I said, the sequence.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can go to those.
Right. It is my understanding that my fellow board member had clarified the timelines yesterday. The time when Mr. de Ruyter had mentioned to us that there was an investigation that he's busy with was the evening of the 17th of January. The induction process had happened over the first induction day, I think, was on the 1st of November 2022, and then we continued in January because there was so much, as you can imagine, that we needed to go through. But as it was mentioned yesterday, Mr. de Ruyter had mentioned an investigation but did not give us any of the details around the investigation. Chair, then in terms of, I assume the next question would be around the time that we made a decision after the interview that the notice period would be changed back to the original notice period which Mr. de Ruyter had given us, which would have been the end of February 2023. Chair, my assumption is that, of course, that in the minds of SCOPA is the question around the rationality of the board's mind around the decision that the board had made at the time. I think that it is important